guys! It's Christmas! It's Christmas! I can't zoom in the video. You guys are really embracing the Christmas spirit. The boys just found out that I had never seen Star Wars before, so strap in for a whole bunch of Star Wars references since we've been having just a massive Star Wars-a-thon.
Once more, the Sith will rule the galaxy.
Anyway, I took this as a direct challenge since Ben decided to come out riding with me today. You stoked today?
Yeah.
Battle of the dirt bikes. Ben versus Catherine. I think we're gonna get rain and sand for Christmas. I just tried to come out of the backyard and the wind was so strong the gate pushed me over trying to come through it. Woo-wee. So Nick was already out here working with Ben to try and get a couple of real videos recorded, and we decided to work on a couple of obstacles in the backyard. But I don't think you realize how dusty it actually is. Like, this was Minnesota blizzard style sandstorm. I'd never experienced anything like this before, but we have to shout out. Check it out. Sam is the real MVP in the background trying to water down the track for us. And you see later on, it definitely did help us. So after watching Ben go over this dirt pile, Nick and I wanted to make a video about going over obstacles by building power and not using the throttle on the obstacle. So you build a bunch of power, let the clutch out, pull the clutch back in, and you have no power delivered on the obstacle. And then you try and go as slow as you can. This is a similar but different skill where you gotta build power, release the clutch, and then you don't deliver power on the obstacle so you don't spin. In this example, I did spin, but we're trying not to. But it was so freaking windy, I kept getting pushed over, even with just 1 foot on the ground. It was a super hard challenge, but we still tried for it because it's a super useful skill that transfers to other obstacles in Hard Enduro.
Use the force. Search your feelings.
You must feel the force around you. Here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere.
And then I figured, what better thing to work on when you can't balance in the wind than balance beams, right? Seems like a no-brainer. I made a reel a while back about keeping your feet on the pegs when things don't go your way so you can properly eject yourself off a dirt bike when you need to. I mean, look at those ninja hands. They were ready. And it's all because I kept my feet on the pegs so that I could jump off the bike effectively. I mean, look at those parkour skills. Those parkour classes I took as a kid are really paying off, so thanks, Mom. But I did make it across the balance beam, and it was way too windy to keep going, so we went inside. What's going on, guys?
It's raining, kind of.
Is it actually raining?
A little bit.
Oh man. There's a puddle.
It's almost real. It's a white Christmas.
It's been 4 months since Ben rode a dirt bike, minus 1 outing with Nick a couple weeks ago. Now we're gonna try and navigate to this one spot that we both know what it looks like. Ben says he knows how to get there. I know how to get there from there to here. We're just gonna reverse it and it'll be no big deal. I took this opportunity of riding with Ben to further the Battle of the Action Cameras testing. Today is gonna be the quality test. We're gonna do 4K 30 versus 4K 30 at the worst time of day, golden hour, sun is setting, it's in your eyes, it's gonna be terrible. I was originally gonna run with the GoPro mounts I had put on my fender. I even got the adapters for them, but then it was super wobbly and unstable and I didn't really trust it. So I went ahead and put the Insta360 adhesive mount on there and ran into a different sort of problems. Now my beef is this like quick release thing. There's wobble in the quick release adapter, but not like the mount, the adhesive mount. The adhesive mount is nice and sturdy, but all the play is coming from the Insta360 mount. So I'll switch over to another mount. Oh my gosh, I wasn't recording that whole time. It's the end of days. Premiere camera work right here. With this mount now, there's way less jiggling. It's a lot more sturdy, but this part of the mount tightens onto this, and then the camera tightens onto that, so there's like 2 points of looseness. I'm struggling to get it lined up, so I'll crank the face a little more, crank the camera, and I'm trying to get these seams to go here so that the camera's pointed right at me, the ground, because the sides of this camera matter when it stitches things together. Depending on where it stitches things look a little wonky. So I had a third and final idea for how to mount the Insta360 X4 for today's ride, where Insta360 sent me this clamp. I don't know the name of it, but it's meant to stabilize the selfie stick, which it actually did. There was a lot less wiggle room, and I noticed when I use the selfie stick, there's a little more play in how I tighten my cameras. So it actually got the camera lined up where I wanted it to, and this is kind of the position that I'm going to use for today's ride, and we'll see how well it handles the golden hour. All right, I know that sun glare is terrible, and it was one of the first things I actually noticed about the Insta360 is when you have the lens guards on, you can very clearly tell that there's something in front of the camera. So when I do the side-by-side shot of the DJI versus the Insta360, I did take the lens guards off to see if that helped. For now, let's check out Ben making it up these little switchbacks here. It was pretty cool, but I saw he was losing momentum, so I had to go for the pass, and then he kept going, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. Oh yeah, getting the block passes in. What a jerk move, but we all know the rules of a trail ride. You have to assert your dominance early on, so sorry about that, Ben, but it sure was good fun. Anywho, we did actually make it to where we were going. We didn't get lost, which was a miracle in and of itself, but during editing, I realized that I accidentally deleted the footage of doing this trail run with the lens covers on, so while it's not the exact same spot doing the same trail ride, here's a good example of the premium lens guards on versus off on the Insta360 X4. And I don't know about you, but when they're side by side, I definitely think having no lens guards does make a difference. But right after this run, I did put them right back on because with the Insta360, the lenses are built into the camera. You can't just replace the lenses if you scratch them or damage them. So when it comes to the hard enduro stuff and the sun isn't directly in the camera, I think it's worth it to have the guards on. But the picture quality definitely is gorgeous on the Insta360. In the last Battle of the Actions camera video that I did a side-by-side comparison of the camera recommended video specifications for motorcycling as the activity, and there was an obvious difference in how the videos looked as far as lighting and settings and quality. Now for this video, I thought it would only be fair to compare 4K 30 against 4K 30 on the same camera run, and we're still kind of having the same things where the DJI looks a little more swoopy than the Insta360 just because of how it processes video. I think the Insta360 is a little more stable and it's easier to watch without getting motion sick, for me anyway. Since there was a cloud over the sun, the videos weren't necessarily side by side for this first half, but now that the sun is coming out on the DJI, honestly, I don't see much of a difference. I know that they both look gorgeous in their own respective ways. Really, they look super similar to me, and ultimately, I think they both look great. I don't really think that I would pick one over the other based off of quality. For me, I love the Insta360 because you can catch anything and everything, and it's basically like having your own camera person, which worked out really well for me since I was the only person that wanted to go up this canyon. The boys kind of walked off onto their own scouting mission. You can see them up in the background. They were stalking me the whole time, but they didn't want to come down. And Ben was off doing Ben things. He didn't want to join me in this sufferfest. I just kind of eyed this up and I was interested to see if I could make it up there. So this just kind of turned into a little pick apart session. And I just wanted to see how far I could make it before the sunset. Now, of course, once I made it up here, the boys started yelling at me to check out that trail behind me. They were like, "Look at it! That's the way Brennan's gotta go." And of course, the nail in the coffin, that was sealing my doom. I was like, oh, if Brennan's gonna go up there, then I guess I gotta go up there, right? Not quite. It was super loose and crumbly, and of course there's a cliff right where I need to go, so I decided to give it a second go. My goal was just to get above that cliff and then I could crawl my way up past them. Except I ended up like 3 inches short, and the rock my rear wheel is on that's holding me in place is not safe or confident at all. It's wiggling loose, it's about to fall off, and let's put this into better perspective. Yeah, not the best place to be. So of course I'm just trying to push myself up to that safe point 3 inches above me, but unfortunately gravity is not on my side, so I have to start pushing across, which means I gotta go across the top of that cliff. My face says it all. I'm thrilled, but this is what it's all about, trying hard stuff and getting scared.
There's plenty of traction once you go forward farther. Even if your rear wheel drops down a little bit, it's only going to go so far. Well, forward another foot or two, I think you're going to get good traction. Then just be careful. Yeah. Now, yeah, let that rock get out of your way. There you go. Get over to that point. That rock that's right in line with me right here, this one. And I think you could go down right there.
This was so steep and off camber. Every time I tried to go forward, my front tire would just fall right back down. I was trying to keep my front tire high, but it's just so loose and crumbly. And then Nick had the most terrifying idea of all.
Feel more comfortable riding it over to that spot? I mean, seriously, like riding it across, you could get quite a bit of drive over to that spot. I would personally feel more comfortable riding it because walking off to the side of it while accelerating, that's kind of foreign.
I, of course, was not stoked about that idea, so I tried to do it my own way, and it did not go as planned. I just kept washing my front tire down, so finally I gave in. Nick was right.
Yeah. Oh, very good.
When I showed Sam this video in the garage while I was editing this, he said that he was so scared for this moment, and I don't blame him. I was scared too.
This one's not exactly easy. You and Ben should probably head back now. It's gonna get really cold. It's gonna get dark real soon.
So then, of course, they found this beautiful line for me to come down, except this is what it looks like from this angle, and this is what I saw when Sam was trying to climb down to get to the phone. Where Nick is standing is where I'm supposed to end up, between a boulder and a hard place and some more rocks. And there's this big old ledge right here in the middle that Sam just walked down, and then watching him slide down it definitely didn't make me feel any better. If this doesn't put it into perspective of how freaky this actually is, then I don't know what will.
Next time I promise I'll just make it up the hill.
But look at Nick, he's my knight in shiny construction yellow. Anyway, after a quick gear swap, and Nick's ready to send it and show us how it's done.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G.
Snoop Dogg! One.
Ben and I had to make the mad scramble back home, but I managed to catch some of the incredible sunset colors. If you're interested in snagging one of these Insta360 cameras, they were kind enough to give me an affiliate link to help support the channel. If you want to check those out, those commissions help keep the channel going, and Ben would appreciate it too.
Don't tip over! No!
We made it back, swapped out some parts, and had a full-on jam session in the garage. So that's all for this week's video. If you liked it, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. It helps keep you motivated to make more Fun Guy reality TV. And until then, I'll see you on the next one.
For Christmas time, if only